I think our net's going to be very small.
While the board gets to decide, of course, you're the guy who's responsible for balancing the books. So how much of a whack is it for you that you don't have any real revenue?
It's going to be a continued whack for quite some time. But we have business interruption insurance that's helping out with some of those expenses, and we have a little bit of programming and a little bit of sales. But generally speaking, it's going to be our business interruption insurance that's going to cover most of the proposed losses.
What kinds of programming can you do sort of consistently? Obviously, the pool.
So the pool, we have our swim program. We had our swim program run this summer, although we couldn't run it here at the pool. We were running it at one of the local high schools.
Wait, these were the ones who won like 31 championships in a row or something, right?
You have a good memory.
How'd they do?
32.
There
Now 32.
you go, baby.
Go Dolphins.
There you go.
That's right. So we were able to run, and we have an after-school swim program. We're kicking off next week with our after-school tennis programs. We've got some plans for October events and some holiday events. So we'll continue, even though we're limited on our facilities and in terms of indoor space currently, we hope to have a kids area up and running over the next few months that will be an indoor, tented, temperature-controlled area.
Let's turn our gaze here, literally 180, put the pool on our backs and look to what used to be the clubhouse. How much is it going to cost you?
You know, hard to say exactly because we don't know exactly how big of a clubhouse we're going to build, but if I had to venture a guess, I'd say somewhere between 25 and 35 million.
Of which how much is insured?
Not enough.
Really?
Yeah. Unfortunately,
You gotta start collecting those dues, man. You got bills to pay.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we've had to jump into the Southern California Edison lawsuit, and hoping that they'll help make us whole, so we'll be able to build our clubhouse back to what it was before.
Big picture, you're going to build it back, but it's going to be different, right, Craig?
It's going to be different. I think it's going to have the same views of the mountains. We're going to create more indoor-outdoor feel. Our building itself will be more efficient. And we were running a 2025 business out of a 1911 building. So I think we're going to build it back much better than it was before, much more efficient than it was before. And by doing that, maybe we can. So I think we're going to build it back much better than it was before, much more efficient than it was before. And by doing that, maybe we can reduce some of the square footage that we needed previously. So hopefully we'll be landing on that hopefully by December.
How long do you think until you're up and running?
2029.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably another.
That's so long.
A little over 3 years.
I was expecting like 27-ish.
A lot of it will depend on how quickly they can process our plans and provide permits.
Yeah.
We built into our time frame somewhere between 12 and 18 months. If they can do that quicker, then we can shorten the time, and we're certainly going to encourage them to do that quicker.
Last time we were here, the golf course was being used, I guess, by the county for dumping is too harsh, but refuse and all of that. It's clear, right? And you can get back over there?
The golf course has been cleared of all the debris. I'll have to say the Army Corps of Engineers were heroes in Altadena. They did a tremendous job of clearing the homes. They did a great job clearing the golf course and getting all that out of there in a timely fashion. Their original schedule was to be completed by January of 2026. And as they were moving forward and as we were seeing how quickly they were moving, we actually pushed our timeline for opening up the club from what would have been January to the Labor Day weekend. My club president and I sat down and thought we could do it and set that as a goal, and sure enough, here we are right now.
It's good to be ambitious. There's a mood question I have to ask you, and we should frame this by saying last time we were here, it was March. Literally, the burned building was still there. It was cloudy and cold. Here we are on a spectacular day. With the pool to our left looking pristine and the debris having been cleaned up. You feel, I don't know if this is going to come across in the audio, you feel more optimistic.
Absolutely. Optimistic, excited, just lots and lots of hope for the future. I couldn't have asked for a better weekend, and moving forward, I think the club is hopefully going to be a representation of what's going to happen all throughout Altadena. And we're starting to see that happen. Loma Alta Park got up and running over the last couple of months. The Bob Lucas Library, a new restaurant, Betsy just opened up. So we're starting to see little glimmers of hope here in Altadena, and hopefully the residents and the local Pasadena folks will be coming up here, supporting the Altadena community, and continue to do so over the next few years until this community gets rebuilt.
It's a short drive up the hill. Craig, thanks a lot. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Good to have you guys back.
Here's another retail lesson that you're not necessarily going to read in the headlines. Pricing challenges come in many, many forms. Kalina Bruce owns Noir Luxe Candle Bar up in Seattle.
Costs have definitely gone up. Everything from, our basic materials, supplies, our wax, our vessels, shipping has increased. And so I would say while tariffs haven't hit us directly, the ripple effect of the supply chain issues has definitely made materials more expensive. Luckily, we haven't had to change our prices, although I would, think that some may feel that it would be wise for us to change our prices given these, incremental increases that we're seeing. But for the time being, we're hopeful that we can remain at the current price point. There's a couple of areas where we could use additional support around like sales, marketing, social media. So we're considering bringing on an intern that can kind of help in that market. But I think just in general, being a business owner and feeling like I have so much on my plate, and then also just trying to balance that like work-life self-care aspect, that tends to be a continuous challenge.
It is indeed. Kalina Bruce, Noir Luxe Candle Bar, Seattle, Washington. One more dispatch coming up later in the program. Coming up.
We've stocked up enough to at least get us through the end of the year and hopefully beyond Valentine's Day.
Turns out the chocolate supply chain maybe ain't so sweet. But first, let's do the numbers. Dow Industrial's up 114 points today, about 0.25%, 45,514. The NASDAQ added 98 points, just shy of 0.5%, 21,798. The S&P 500 gained 13 points, 0.2%, 64.95. Last month, EchoStar sold more than $20 billion worth of Spectrum licenses to AT&T. Now it's selling another $17 billion worth of SpaceX. Half of that's going to be cash, half shares in the rocket company. Elon Musk's company will also cover a couple of $1 billion worth of EchoStar's interest payments. Nice deal. EchoStar shot up just under 20% today. The deal was bad news for legacy wireless carriers, though. The aforementioned AT&T dialed down 2.33%. Verizon slipped about 2.4%. Bonds up, yield on the 10-year T-note 4.04%. You're listening to Marketplace.
The Numbers is supported by Mercury, a fintech that offers banking, credit cards, and financial software. Marketplace is supported by JLL, a global commercial real estate firm combining predictive insights with guidance, helping clients find, manage, and invest in properties across all sectors. JLL.com. JLL, see a brighter way. And by the United States Postal Service, offering postage stamps for purchase at checkout at over 40,000 participating supermarkets and drugstores, and at wholesale clubs Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, and BJ's. And by Avalara, providing businesses with cloud-based tools and managed services for property tax compliance. From filing returns to tracking assessments, Avalara can help. Learn more at avalara.com/propertytax.
For nearly a century, Russ and Daughters has been one of the city's most beloved go-to spots for Jewish comfort food. Now its fourth-generation co-owners have written a cookbook that combines its rich family history with recipes for some of the shop's most famous dishes. On the next All of It, Nikki Russ Fetterman and Josh Russ Tupper join us to discuss Russ and Daughters, 100 Years of Appetizing. I'm Allison Stewart. Join us for All of It, weekdays at noon on WNYC.
WNYC support comes from the Public Theater presenting Oh Happy Day, written by and starring Jordan E. Cooper, directed by Stevie Walker Webb, with original songs by Donald Lawrence. Begins October 2nd. More at publictheater.org.
You're listening to Marketplace on WNYC. In the 7 o'clock hour of All Things Considered, we'll hear from a maritime archaeologist about the record number of shipwreck discoveries in the Great Lakes in recent years, including 2 just in the last several months. We'll have that and more at 7. Stay tuned.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Risdall. The memification of stock trading is going legit in a way. Robinhood, the no-commission trading app, has been around since 2013, went public in 2021, and on September the 22nd is going to join the S&P 500. It is a milestone for the company and maybe, just maybe, a turning point for fintech, financial technology that is, from the fringes of finance to being a pillar of the markets. Marketplace's Megan McCarty-Carino explains.
Robinhood first made a splash as the platform of choice for Reddit traders looking to cause havoc among traditional investors by pumping up shares in companies like GameStop, AMC, and BlackBerry. Robinhood was all over financial media.
Retail investor participation in the markets reaching new heights and euphoria in some cases.
GameStop shares tanking today. Robinhood and other brokers making it tougher to trade the stock.
Robinhood was the subject of congressional hearings and regulatory scrutiny for the way it gamifies investment. Now it's joining the list of the most important publicly traded companies in the U.S., says Ben Johnson, a market strategist for Morningstar.
Part of it is just indicative of success, and part of it means that there's, in all likelihood, going to be a lot of new investors taking a fresh look at your stock.
Index funds, the most vanilla passive investments, will soon include a platform built on high-risk trades. Not just meme stocks, but crypto and other exotic instruments. Though analyst Dan Dolev at Mizuho points out Robinhood has gotten more vanilla itself in recent years.
They've grown a lot, right? Like they've become like a real responsible management company.
He says the introduction of retirement accounts, credit cards, and wealth management services have helped Robinhood take increasing market share from traditional online brokerages. But it's not just that Robinhood has grown up, says Tyler Galosh at the nonprofit Healthy Markets Association. It's that Wall Street has gotten comfy with fintech brands that aren't so buttoned up.
Is it gambling? Is it gaming? Is it investing? Whether or not you think the investment products that many people buy and sell on there are good investments or bad investments, that's an entirely separate question of whether or not the company is a good investment or a bad one.
And at least right now, markets seem to think it's a good one. I'm Megan McCarty-Carino for Marketplace.
If you live in New York City and you've been hankering for a smoothie that's a blend of almond milk, organic strawberries, bananas, avocado, dates, maple syrup, collagen peptides, hyaluronic acid, sea moss gel, and coconut cream, have we got good news for you. Erewhon, the LA grocery store famous for its above-described $20 Hailey Bieber strawberry glaze skin smoothie, is opening an outpost back east. Like any industry that relies on consumer spending, luxury retail is worried about tariffs and inflation and consumer sentiment, sure, but moneyed brands are going to do what money brands are going to do. Erewhon's expanding. Louis Vuitton has dropped its first makeup collection, which includes a $160 tube of lipstick. The Simon Property Group is turning more of its malls into luxury shopping spaces. Marketplace's Kristen Schwab has more on the ever-increasing appetite for high-end.
There's always been a market for designer clothing, fine dining, and fancy cars. But these days, you can find luxe everything everywhere. Catherine Milk-Ure is a marketing professor at UC Berkeley.
With everyone buying so much online and working from home, people are still craving experience.
The experience of shopping with a glass of champagne or belonging to a gym that also feels like a spa. For some consumers, luxury is no longer a special treat, but a lifestyle. And more companies see that as opportunity. Because here's the thing.
The people who are spending money for $19 melons don't care.
Yes, luxury fruit exists too, because a dollar is a dollar is a dollar, unless you make so many dollars that your perception of value is skewed. The number of upper-income households in the U.S. has nearly doubled in the last 50 years. Gregory Carpenter is a marketing professor at Northwestern.
And the rising wealth in much of the world in China and the U.S. doesn't show any signs of diminishing.
And those high earners are also on a spending spree. Households with the top 10% of incomes now account for nearly half of all consumer spending in the U.S., despite inflation. Aaron Cheris, who heads e-commerce at Bain & Company, says luxury brands are often more insulated during times of economic stress because their customers are more insulated too.
Why do I focus on the higher end consumer? It's where the money is.
Cheris says increasingly, the money is either in Swiss watches and Hermes bags or in affordable everyday stuff at Walmart and TJ Maxx. Because if you're a company at the high or low end,
I can say I'm the best at something. I'm cheapest. I'm coolest. I'm fanciest.
But it's harder to say you're the best at anything when you're selling products and services to a shrinking middle class. I'm Kristen Schwab for Marketplace.
There are, as of today, just 159 days until Valentine's Day, which I mentioned because chocolate ain't getting no cheaper. Kristen Tallheimer Bingham's the co-owner of Dean Sweets in Portland, Maine.
The big bad news is that cost of chocolate has gone up again. 42% for dark chocolate since April and 50% for milk chocolate. We've been watching the cost climb over the years, and actually this last spike was quite a shock. We did not see it coming. Tariffs account for about 10% of the overall cost. The rest of it is due to stress on the cocoa industry as a whole. We will need to increase our prices. We wish we didn't have to, but there really aren't any other choices for us to make the math work and to continue to do business. Besides the price increases, our next biggest challenge is, once again, an iffy supply chain. We have excellent suppliers, but they tell us that they're having trouble getting chocolate from their usual sources. We've stocked up enough to at least get us through the end of the year and hopefully beyond Valentine's Day. But down the line, availability may matter more than pricing.
Kristen Tallheimer Bingham making chocolate as best she can at Dean Sweets in Portland, Maine.
On Tuesday, September 9th at 4 p.m. Pacific, How We Survive is hosting a live webinar, Is Climate Change an Economic Crisis? Presented by Marketplace with support from Odoo. Details at marketplace.org/climate.
This final note on the way out today, in which I got some good news and I got some bad news. Both come to us from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, which reported its monthly survey of consumer expectations today, that our monthly long-term inflation expectations are holding pretty steady. That's the good news. The bad news is that we're feeling way worse about our chances of finding a job should we lose the one we have. The labor market right now, everything. Amir Babawi, Caitlin Esch, John Gordon, Noya Carr, Amanda Petrin, Stephanie Seek are the Marketplace editing staff. Kelly Silvera is the news director. I'm Kai Risdall. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. This is APM.